Archaeology shock. 3.2 billion year old rock find proves the book of Genesis story concerning the geology of the earth, the process of how the earth evolved. The Bible may have been proved somewhat accurate after a 3.2 billion year old rock discovery made in Australia, the area of Pilbara, Australia. The find was made there in northwest Australia, Pilbara, on a stretch of rock that once laid on the bed of the ocean next to a hydrothermal vent. And within its composition are clues to the makeup of the ancient world, the geology that is, through the ratio of oxygen 16 to oxygen 18 isotopes, which should have remained stable over history. But there was more of the latter, heavier oxygen. Boswell Wing of the University of Colorado Boulder says this implies that the processes that take oxygen 18 out of the system were not working, and that means that the continents were still submerged during the planet's primeval early era. And this is what he said last week. When you form a soil, you form clays, and clays hoover up heavy oxygen. What you can tell from that is how much soil formation was going on. There are no clays. That means that there were no soils. The discovery suggests that the Bible may have been correct in some respect. The book of Genesis, in the first book of the Bible, has the account of the creation of the world by God in 6 days, which of course a day for God is 1,000 years or 1,000,000,000 years. Chapter 1:9 reads, "And God said, let the water under the sky be gathered into one place, and let dry ground appear," and so it was. But scientists believe the world was covered in water until about 3.2 billion years ago, not 3 days as the Bible claims, but as we said, it's symbolic. A day for God is symbolic. Professor Wing also admitted there was an element of guesswork in their interpretations. He said that's why old rocks and the ancient earth is so much fun. It's the limit of the geological record. One of the things we think we know but don't know for certain because we don't have a time machine is that heat flow was greater in the past. At some point when it dropped below a critical level, we started to develop what we see today as plate tectonics. And before that, it was an entirely different tectonic regime. It's not the first boulder to spark biblical claims, though, he says. The discovery of the footprint also in Majorca, there are other legends that say belong to Jesus Christ, that has also been used as proof of the Bible's teachings. Biblical investigator Szymka Jakubowicz spoke to locals in 2004 to discuss that importance. He said, "Ever since I was small, my grandparents would take me here and make me step in this rock, and they said that this is where Jesus left his footprint. It's a very old tradition." He said, my grandmother heard it from her mother. She heard it from the mother before her. So it's an ancient tradition. Okay, but we're talking about the rocks here, that they have not found clay, meaning that there was no process by which this was above ground. The world was covered in water until about 3.2 billion years ago, and Professor Wing admitted there was an element of guesswork in their interpretations. When you form a soil, it forms clays, and clays hoover up heavy oxygen. What you can tell from that is how much soil formation was going on. If there are no clays, that means no soils. This is on Express UK, this recent geological find reported by Callum Hoare. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.